The Terrifier franchise has been hit with another lawsuit. Does the fourth film's fate hang in the balance? Well, let's talk a little bit about it.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
I want to be a fighter, like you.
Oh, let it burn! Let it burn!
Did you miss me?
You have to shoot them in the head. They always come back.
The boat can leave now. Tell the crew.
But sometimes that is better.
Good luck.
Hey everybody, I'm Killjoy Jake. Today we have some Terrifier updates to get into in today's video, but before we get into all this, please make sure to like this video and subscribe for more horror movie update videos just like this one. Hopefully ones that are filled with less drama. Thank you all for the support. Now let's get into it. So Dark Age Cinema and Art the Clown LLC have been hit with a federal case from Ruthless Studios, accusing them of copyright and trademark infringement, unfair competition, and improperly profiting off of the slasher villain. A little background on Ruthless Studios: they were the production company behind Damien Leone's All Hallows Eve. That is, of course, the anthology horror flick that comprises all of Damien Leone's short films at the time. It also features the original Terrifier short film, as well as a brand new wraparound segment that features the character as well, scoring some pretty gnarly kills.
What are you doing?
I'm turning it off. It's too violent for the two of you.
Ruthless Studios has gone on to produce 3 more All Hallows Eve anthology horror films, with the latest one, All Hallows Eve Inferno, dropping on Tubi in 2024. It's noteworthy that the studio never tried to make their own Art the Clown across all 3 of these films. So according to the production company, Damien Leone transferred ownership of the original Terrifier and the Ninth Circle short films, both featured in All Hallows Eve, along with related copyrights, trademarks, sequel rights, and derivative works to the company for $5,000 back in 2013 when the movie came out. So basically, Damien Leone was paid a lump sum for the rights to his short films. Ruthless Studios also claims in this new suit that it gives them the rights to any new sequels or profits generated from. Now, if that was the end of the story, then yeah, Ruthless would have a pretty good case here, but there is definitely more to it than just that. Apparently, Damien Leone reached out to Ruthless asking them for permission to use the character for the low-budget 2016 original Terrifier feature film, which they agreed to. They also claim that it was supposed to be a one-time thing. This is where it gets super messy to me. Why, as a production company, would you just give away one of your own intellectual properties like that? That just doesn't make any sense. Not only does it seem like a poor business practice to just lend out an IP, but I just don't believe that this is how things went down. It's also a pretty tough argument to say that Art the Clown is the face of the All Hallows Eve franchise when he's only featured in one of the films. The company never even tried to recreate Art in the other sequels. Now, although something smells super fishy about all that to me, a contract is a contract at the end of the day, but you had an agreement allowing Damien Leone to make his original Terrifier film all the way back in 2016. I'm speculating here, but I think this decision was ultimately made because All Hallows Eve didn't necessarily make a splash. Nobody, and I mean nobody, considered Art the Clown a horror icon at that point in 2013. Now, the tables have turned, however, considering the fact that Damien and co. have built Art the Clown up to be one of the biggest slasher icons of the 2020s. Now, it just seems like Ruthless Studios wants a piece of that pie. You might also be wondering, why did they wait until 2026 to make a big fuss about this? That's where things get even weirder. So Jesse Baguette, owner of Ruthless Studios, who also has a story by credit on the original All Hallows Eve film, claims to have been in a remote location without social media access between the years of 2019 and 2023. Baguette allegedly never knew about the production of another Terrifier film during this time. Was Art the Clown like keeping him chained up in a cabin in the woods or something? Like, what's going on here? That just sounds like a big old pile of baloney to me. The lawsuit particularly takes aim at Terrifiers 2 and 3, you know, the uber successful ones, saying that they are clearly derivative works of and or sequels to the original Terrifier short film. Ruthless is seeking damages, an accounting of profits, injunctive relief, and a court declaration that it owns the copyrights to Terrifier 2, Terrifier 3, and all related sequels, merchandise, video games, events, and other derivative projects, excluding the 2016 Terrifier film. Like I was saying earlier, contracts are still contracts. Ruthless isn't necessarily wrong here. But as a counterpoint, I would also argue that Ruthless Studios had absolutely nothing to do with turning Art the Clown into the slasher icon that he is today. Like Baguette even claims here, he was in a remote location during that entire process pretty much. I understand making the argument that you should have had some sort of credit on Terrifiers 2 and 3 even though you didn't directly work on those films. That's one thing, but asking specifically for the profits next to the two most successful films in the entire franchise by far, as well as all of the other collabs, merch. That just feels like a step too far for a guy who was allegedly in the middle of nowhere for multiple years while all of this was going on. I think art slasher icon status came from a lot of sweat, blood, and tears. I mean, no offense to the original Art the Clown actor Mike Gianelli, but it was David Howard Thornton's take on the character that really brought him to life. Thornton has been described by Damien Leone as a walking cartoon character, and he brings that goofy energy to art with a sinister twist. The Art the Clown we see in All Hallows Eve feels a little more like a generic killer clown.
Please! He's following me!
Who's following you?
The man! He's in a clown costume!
There may have been some messy things going on with the contracts behind the scenes, but Ruthless absolutely cannot argue that they had anything to do with turning Art the Clown into an icon. At least not in my opinion. All Hallows Eve is a film that was never even on my radar until I started doing research on the Terrifier movies during the production of the first sequel. Art the Clown wasn't even remotely in the public eye until he popped up on Netflix in 2017. I will never forget the night I watched that film for the first time based on a recommendation from a buddy at work. This whole thing is crazy bogus, and I really hope it doesn't turn into another Friday the 13th situation. Look, Ruthless might have some sort of contract thing in their corner, but Damien Leone and all of the other people that worked so hard on Terrifier 1, Terrifier 2, and Terrifier 3 don't deserve this bullshit. The good news is this sounds a lot like a recent court case regarding the Scream franchise. So back in early February of this year, not even a month before Scream 7 dropped in theaters, a dispute came out over the rights to the Ghostface mask between Spyglass Media, Paramount Pictures, and Alterian Ghost Factory. Alterian claims they came up with the mask and intentionally slept on its purported rights in the iconic Ghostface mask used throughout the Scream franchise for 30 years. I think from that last statement, you can see the comparison between both of these cases. Basically, they were asking for some sort of compensation for creating the mask used in all 7 Scream films. The good news about this comparison between the Terrifier lawsuit and the Scream lawsuit is that back on May 7th, this was all resolved out of court. Some sort of settlement was reached and both parties dismissed their lawsuits. So I think there's a really good chance that some sort of settlement is going to be made with this and Terrifier 4 will still press onward. I think it would be devastating if Terrifier 4 doesn't get to be made because of something like this, especially considering the fact that all the fans have been left on a major cliffhanger as to where this whole thing is going to wrap up. If that doesn't get resolved because of something super petty like this, that would be the most frustrating bit of horror news I think I would ever cover on this page. I'm gonna knock on some wood before I say this, but I really hope this is the last time that we're talking about this court case here on this page. Fingers crossed. What do you guys think about all this though? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.